Hello everyone, I'm Rich Hagan.
And I'm Maria Bartholdi.
And together we're going to bring you a very special preview for Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. Maria, what are you looking forward to?
Rich, I want to see 3 river hoopoes in play at the same time.
On one side of the table?
Yes, I'm a simple woman.
You're a terrible human being. Someone who is not a terrible human being is Brian David Marshall. He is waiting at our video wall to talk about the climax to the team series.
Thanks, Rich. The Pro Tour Team Series is going to put 2 teams into the finals at the World Championship in Boston. And basically, 4 or 5 teams are really right in the mix right now. And all 6 results from all 6 players on each team is going to count towards their final standings. Let's take a look at what we know right now. What we know is that Musashi is almost certainly going to Boston in the finals of the team series. They have a staggering 119 points collectively on the season, and really not that shocking when you look at this lineup. Kentaro Yamamoto, Yuya Watanabe, Shota Yasaoka, Ken Yukihiro, who's just been on a tear. This team is just incredible. They put multiple people into the top 8 last time out, and they have a huge lead. It is a 25-point lead over the second place team, which right now, as things stand, is Team Genesis. So let's take a look at Team Genesis. Here you get a look. You can see in this photo, Michael Majors has some asterisks next to his name. That's because he's gone to work for Wizards of the Coast, which means that Genesis has had to make a replacement. Thomas Hendricks, who's already been playtesting with the team, is now going to join the team. And you see his name down there at the bottom. They are 25 points off the lead. So they could catch Musashi. If they do, then Musashi will probably just be in second place. But what they're really worried about are the teams that are behind them. So let's take a look. In third place, just 6 points behind Genesis, you have MTG Midcard. This is a team of superstars: Li Shitian, Jason Chung, Huang Haoshan, Kelvin Chu, Eduardo Sajulik, Nam Sung Wook, and this team had 88 points. So they're 6 points off of Genesis. So really, this is going to be a matter of 1 or 2 matches better. If they can finish 1 or 2 matches better than Genesis, that could be all the difference. Behind them is Team Lingering Souls. And Lingering Souls, this was a huge event for them last time. Chris Fennell got into the top 8 of the Pro Tour, and that was the 1-point difference. That was the 1 point that separated them from Team Puzzle Quest. And with that 1 point, it qualified everybody on their team for the Pro Tour, which they didn't have not everyone was going to be invited. And so, it was like a PTQ for Shaheen Sarani, who you see mugging for the camera right there. A huge result. And they have 74 points, so they're 20 points off of Genesis and 14 points off of Midcard. And then in 5th place, let's take a look at Team Puzzle Quest. This is a team that, if you were going to, at the beginning of the season, say, it's going to be Musashi, it's going to be Puzzle Quest, Hall of Famers up and down the lineup here, Rietzel, Finkel, Jensen, Turtenwald, all Hall of Famers. They're in great shape overall, considering they have not had an amazing breakout tournament. If they can have a tournament like maybe Musashi had at the last Pro Tour, then they could possibly climb past all these teams. They got to find 21 points better, 21 points plus, to get ahead of Team Genesis.
Thanks very much to Brian David Marshall there. All right, that's teams, but in order to get those points, Maria, they have to play some kind of magic. If people want to get their draft on, how is that going to work?
All right, we're going to kick things off with the draft. Rounds 1 through 3 will be draft. We've got 2 packs of Hour of Devastation, 1 pack of Amonkhet, and then we're going to do the same thing on Saturday. So Friday, we're going to kick things off with draft, and Saturday, same thing once again, rounds 9 through 11, drafting once again. So if you love draft, the start of the mornings is the place to be.
Well, I know 2 people who do absolutely love Limited. That is Riley Knight of Australia and our very own Marshall Sutcliffe. They're waiting down on the floor to tell us a little bit more about this new Limited format.
Thanks very much for that. I'm here with Marshall Big Bucket Sutcliffe, and we've just been enjoying about the limited format. Hour of Devastation's really changed some stuff up since Amonkhet.
Yeah, it really has. The thing that the pros are going to be considering when they come in here, Riley, the speed of the format. Now, that's sort of a broad generalization, but in Amonkhet, it's one of the faster formats we've had in recent memory, and Hour of Devastation has erased all of that. Now, what that means is it's just a big shakeup. You can draft slow decks, medium decks, or still fast decks. They have not gone away. It's just now there's other viable strategies. So the pros have been forced to look at the format as a whole and try to figure out, okay, what's still good? What do we need to get rid of as far as strategies go? And what are the new things that we need to take into account?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's changed. Like that's really what we're hoping to explore this weekend. And I think one of the key things that's really opened up the format is deserts. These guys are playing a huge role in this limited format moving forward.
Yeah, it turns out that the deserts, especially the good deserts, mainly the cycling deserts and also the spell deserts as we call them, they have a low impact on your mana base, which is a good thing. That means that, they're not that bad to put in your deck, yet they have a lot of upside. Not only can you use the cycling deserts in the late game to draw extra cards when you've drawn, and we've all been there, right? You drew one too many lands, you can just cycle it away, but also they work for all the deserts enabled cards, and it turns out they're pretty powerful. Sand Strangler, it might be the best uncommon in the set. It's really, really good, and that's just one example. And so you want these deserts. Now what this means though is with only 2 packs of deserts, you need to prioritize them. Now I shouldn't say that. There's 3 packs of deserts, there's only 2 packs of good deserts. and what that means is that you're going to see these things go a lot earlier than you might expect a land to go. 4th pick, 3rd pick, 5th pick, 6th. These are all well within range, and I wouldn't be shocked to see some of our players take these cards that highly when they sit down to draft.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this throughout the weekend, exactly how highly these are prioritized. The other thing, Marshall, we're going to keep an eye on, of course, is the race, the ongoing race here for the Draft Master. Now, I tell you what, it is close. It is close than a boarding house scrape of butter here, because at the top of the table, we've got Travis Wu. And right underneath him, though, just with his snoot ahead of Martin User and Owen Turtnord, some of the best players in the world, really. And so Wu's really got his work cut out for him if he wants to stay atop of the table. What are you looking for as we sort of count down to this title?
Yeah, so this is a huge, there's so much at stake, right? A seat at the World Championship is about the pinnacle that you can get in one season out of your season of Magic, right? You try to get platinum and you try to get that. If you're one of the top players, that's what you want. It's Travis Wu's to lose. If he wins, if he 6-0s his 2 drafts here, he's in. He cannot be caught. So the other players are going to have to do the best they can to stay within range, and we're going to be watching. If Travis loses a match, then boom, the doors are open, and the 2 players that are closest knocking at the door are very much within range, and they're both very capable of putting up a 5-1 or a 6-0. So the first thing to do, watch Travis Wu. See how he does, because his fate is in his hands. If he loses a match or 2, anybody could take it out of those 3 that you said.
Yeah, it's anyone's game from here. We're going to keep a close eye on this. That is about it from us here. It's back to the desk.
Thanks, Riley and Marshall. Well, not only do you have to master draft at the Pro Tour, you also have to be pretty good at constructed. Rich, what does constructed look like at this tournament?
Yeah, so standard seems to be super interesting. Talking to the pros here at registration on the eve of the Pro Tour, no one's sure what the best deck is, and no one's hiding it under wraps. They really don't know. Some of the best teams in the world are coming to us and saying, what should we play? There are so many decks we could choose. So super interesting. It's going to be in the afternoons that you see your standard action. Friday afternoon, rounds 4 through 8. On Saturday, you'll see rounds 12 through 16. That's the shape. And then again on Sunday, all the way, it is standard. Well, down on the floor, once again, let's get a bit more insight into the world of constructed. Here's Tim Willoughby with Hall of Famer Luis Scott Vargas.
Well, now we're looking at standard, and this standard format looking to be kind of an exciting one. Hour of Devastation added quite a bit to the format. What should we be looking out for this weekend, Luis?
Godfarrow's Gift is one of the biggest ones. Whether you cheated into play with Refurbish or Gate to the Afterlife, either way you're going to be eternalizing a bunch of really cool creatures.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different creatures already put into play with Godfarrow's Gift. Also a lot of different colors for that deck. It seems like one of those ones that maybe not everyone's quite figured out the right shell for yet, but super powerful card.
Yeah, as long as you have Champion of Wits and Godfarrow's Gift, you're doing a pretty good job of it, and past that, it actually can go a lot of different directions.
Now, the other deck I'm kind of excited to see is the Resurgence of Red. This seems to be a format where we've got the deck that's kind of keeping everyone else honest, lots of haste creatures. How much do you think that's going to be able to stymie the plans of people trying to be a little bit clever?
I think that people are fairly prepared for the mono red deck, but it doesn't mean it's not good. And you're going to see a lot of decks that are looking to get maybe 15 points of damage through with their creatures, the last 5 with deserts.
Now, deserts are the new addition from Hour of Devastation, and they really do change a lot of how the red deck works. It feels like the good old days of Barbarian Ring, that suddenly you've got some proper uncounterable damage to finish things off.
Yeah, Ramunap Ruins really just deals the last 4 to 6 points of damage combined with a Sunscorched Desert, and that means that you're never really safe, even if you've got a bunch of counters in hand, even if you've got the board stabilized.
Now, of course, there are a lot of decks in this standard format. We've heard some of the players already talking about the variety of decks available. Are we likely to see various decks from standard past for the last sort of couple of years?
Yeah, you're going to see stuff like various Teamer Energy decks, Mardu vehicles, Esper vehicles, Blue-White Monument, Blue-Red Gearhulk. We're going to see a pretty wide range of decks.
So a pretty tough standard format to prepare for, all in all. There's a few players that are going to be particularly looking out to try and put in a good performance in this constructed format, and those are the ones who are in the final furlong, if you will, to become the constructed master going into the World Championship. So at the moment, there's actually 2 players on 69 points, a great position to be in. Steve Hatto and Sean McLaren, both on 69 points. We've got Li Shiqian, Pozzo, and Kelvin Chu right behind them. Quite the race with 10 rounds of standard left to go.
Yeah, it's pretty high stakes, playing for a slot at Worlds. And then with 10 rounds of standard, you're not even guaranteed to get to play all 10. If you don't make day 2 of the Pro Tour, your constructed master hopes are pretty much done for. So whether these players can escape with an 8-2, a 7-3, that's really what they're looking for.
Yeah, we have 10 rounds of standard left to go, lots of decks to see. We are very much looking forward to standard here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation.
Thanks, Tim and Luis. Well, a lot of races to watch this weekend, not the least of which is the race for the World Magic Cup. Rich, you've been watching this race like a hawk.
Yeah, well, there's 73 of them. There are so many. Around about half of them are already done. There are plenty more where players need just a couple of points. But here's 4 of the biggest ones. Let's take you to France and Japan, first of all. France has 3 big names at the top. Dajon leads Hall of Famer Raf Levy by 1 point. Jeremy Desani, so Desani and Dajon, the finalists from Pro Tour Theros, of course, in 2013, all within 3 points of each other. That's basically a round at the Pro Tour. So whoever does best there, likely to be the winner. What a true matchup for the connoisseurs, the connoisseurs of Japanese Magic. Yuya Watanabe and Shota Yasuoka, both Hall of Famers, are going at it on 65 points. It could be Ken Yukihiro or Yamamoto or Ichikawa, but realistically, one of Watanabe and Yasuoka are going to claim that prestigious team captaincy. That's going to be great. But Maria, the biggest Magic nation on earth is, of course, Team USA.
Yes.
What's going on there?
All right, so let's take a look. Reed Duke is leading this race at 64 points, but no slouch behind him. Owen Turtenwald on 58. Brad Nelson in there as well at 57. Jerry Thompson, our last Pro Tour winner, at 51 points. Eric Froelich is in the mix as well, who's in the top 8 of the last Pro Tour. And just rounding out this list, Seth Manfield, William Huey Jensen, Steve Rubin, and Donald Smith, all huge names, and a bunch more that we couldn't even fit on this graphic that are in contention if they make top 8.
Right, now on the other side of North America, you've got Canada. You see there, Eduardo Sajgalik, it's kind of his to lose. Ben Hull is the Rookie of the Year leader, of course, on 42. But once you head further down the pile, Hain, Dean, McLaren, Maynard, Stern, Wilson, that is a who's who of Canadian Magic from the last half dozen years. Rich Hone, a little bit further down, won't be with us this weekend. But Sajgalik looks like he's in pretty good shape. Most of the rest heading towards needing a top 8 finish to knock him off his lofty perch for Canada. That's just 4 of the 73 races. We'll keep you in touch with as many as we can through the weekend.
And we've been joined at the news desk by R&D member, brand new R&D member, Paul Chian. Welcome. What are you most looking forward to here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation?
Well, there's a standard deck. When I first looked at this deck, I thought it was just a pile of cards. And I was like, how does this deck actually work? And then it won the last 2 Magic Online PTQs. The deck is the God Pharaoh's Gift deck. And now the way this deck functions is you try to get a bunch of cards into your graveyard as quickly as possible, cast Refurbish to get Gift of the God Pharaoh into play, then start churning out a bunch of giant Eternalized Haste creatures. And I got to play with this deck, and I'm really excited to see if somebody can actually find just the right shell for this. There are a lot of different variants on this, and yeah, like the deck is really, really fun to play.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, there is so much going on here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. Paul, Maria, the whole team will be with you throughout 3 days of action. We begin at 9 a.m. local time here in Japan tomorrow morning. Wherever you are around the world, set your alarms, get your sleep patterns going, because this is 3 days of magic. You will not want to miss whatever time zone you're in. Until we meet for the start of Pro Tour Hour of Devastation, the season finale starts right here at the home of magic. I'm Rich Hagan for everyone on the team, saying bye.